Hi there, I'm back. Mad Hatter here, and I'm back with week 25 of 52 original card tricks. And this week we're celebrating Juneteenth. And in order to do that, I thought what better way than to celebrate my favorite musical artist of all time, Miles Davis. And Miles Davis was a great jazz trumpet player. But he really is so much more than that. And he came about back in 1944 was when he got his big break and started making jazz records all the way into the 1990s. So 50 years of recording and performing and writing music. So this video is dedicated to Miles Davis. So this is a trick I made in his honor, which I call Always Blue, which I think he must have been. And I chose my blue Star Wars cards for this trick today. And I'm going to have a little bit of his music while we do this. This is called So What from his most famous album, Kinda Blue. It's a live version. And so we'll go way back to 1944 with his first album, Chasing the Bird. And the bird refers to Charlie Parker, who was his idol. And Charlie Parker played saxophone, and Miles played trumpet. But he listened to all his music, and then he went to New York to study at Juilliard School for music. And then he dropped out to join Charlie Parker's band. And the rest is history. So we're going to start there. So I'm going to get these Star Wars blue cards. I chose the Star Wars cards because I think in order to play jazz, you have a little extra special power, like the Force, that they're able to use, especially people like Miles. So there's the Star Wars. Okay. So I'm going to show you that these are shuffled, but I will also shuffle them more, just in case there's any doubt. And I'll tell you a little bit about Miles as we go. There he is playing the solo. So basically, as he got going in the 40s with his playing and his music, he started to come up with his own way of playing. Oh, I should also make my prediction. This is a prediction trick, so I'm going to write down my prediction before we really get going. And we'll show you that at the end. We'll leave it there so you can see it. Okay. So, we'll spread out our shuffled deck. Over to Eeyore here, who's been waiting so patiently. Thank you, Eeyore. And he's kind of blue too, right? Anyway, so the first style of music that he played was bebop, which was kind of popularized by Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. So you can take away the beboppers. So he's going to take away some cards, and we'll put those up here. So there goes the bebop. Now we go into the 50s. Or 1948 actually is when he left Charlie Parker's band, and he left the band to make his own sound. His first real sound was called cool jazz, and it was the type of thing where he took the cool jazz, he took the bebop and he sort of chilled it out by taking away some of the chords maybe and focusing more on the melody, making it a little simpler to listen to in some ways. So the cool jazz, we'll have Horton, who's been patient over here. He says the music's a little loud, so I'm going to, turn it down a little bit. He's got the good hearing. We're going to get rid of the cool jazz musicians. They're trying to narrow it down to just Miles and to the prediction. So, next after cool jazz, that wasn't enough for Miles. This is why I love him so much. He kept changing. He kept saying, okay, I've already done bebop, now I've done cool jazz. What's another style I can come up with? And the next thing was a thing called modal jazz. And modal jazz is where you take different scales called modes, like the Greek modes, and he applied them to jazz. So now you have chords, but you're really trying to play around these scales instead of having to jump through all the chords so much. So it's a different way of soloing, and that's what we're hearing now with 1959 Kinda Blue. And that was John Coltrane that just played that solo. So we'll get rid of those guys. Thank you, Eeyore. We're getting there. We're narrowing it down. We'll do some more shuffling. And we'll think about the next style, which... So he's done... Oh, I meant to show you these. For cool jazz we had Sketches of Spain, which is one of his big albums, where he played with a full orchestra. And then Kinda Blue, the one we're listening to, So What, is from this album. This is the best-selling jazz album of all time, Kind of Blue. And so where would he go from there? Well, he decided that the music was kind of going away from the chords, and they were going with just listening to each other and playing free, so to speak, and they called it avant-garde. And that's when we got Miles Smiles and this quintet of young musicians. So now he was about 40 and the musicians were 20, right? So he got guys half his age and created this new style where they played very free. And I think it's now Horton's turn to take some cards. So he's going to get rid of the avant-garde musicians. Now what's left? Well, as we get into the 70s, late 60s, then into the 70s, the musicians that he was listening to, like rock and roll, was getting more popular, and they plugged in their instruments, so it was electric. So he called it fusion, or someone called it fusion. And so he started playing sort of rock and roll beats with his jazz playing. So he's always playing the trumpet this whole time, kind of like that. So it just worked. So we're going to get rid of the fusion musicians. Okay. So now we're just left with this. So I'm just going to spread these out. And we can get rid of the Joker. Okay. So we'll let them each touch a card. Just any card. 1, 2. Okay. We'll get rid of those cards. You can touch 2 more. Okay. We'll get rid of those. When we got into the 80s and then the early 90s, he was playing, you know, still with these electric bands, but doing some more funky kind of sounds. And one more. Okay, we'll get rid of that one. That leaves us with 1 card, which could have been any of the cards, but it turns out it's the 2 of spades. And let's now finally check the prediction. And as we see, it says blue, 2 of spades. Well, it is a 2 of spades, and of course it is blue. So why did I write blue? Well, remember, Miles was always blue throughout all of those genres that he created and played in, and all the music that he wrote. He was blue. He was playing the blues, right? But the musicians always changed. So you can see they were red, right? The whole time these were the musicians, and he was the one that stayed the same. He was always blue, a kind of blue. So only blue card in the deck was a 2 of spades, the one that we predicted. So thank you, Horton. Thank you, Eeyore. You're good sports. Happy Juneteenth. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Miles for the great music. I hope you enjoyed learning about that. And all this stuff is covered in my book. I'll mention it again. We're almost halfway through the year, so I'll probably be mentioning it more. About card tricks, where I talk about how these tricks are done in full detail, and about my influences, both magical and musical. So I have 10 musical tricks in the book. This is one of them. And I hope you are enjoying watching these videos, and I look forward to the next one. Ta-ta for now.